Hello and welcome to ITV News Meridian.
Tonight's headlines in the southeast. A jury has played video allegedly showing 3 teenagers reenacting a brutal attack on Sussex care worker Alan Wilson.
Driving force, the Kent lawyer who's clocked up 16,000 miles so far, taking stranded Ukrainian refugees to places of safety.
Fresh demands for billions of pounds to fix thousands of potholes across Kent and Sussex. And a legal warning, don't follow Rod Stewart's example and do it yourself.
I'll be chasing you.
And we catch up with the UK's biggest country act.
Hey, we're the Shires. And we are back on tour around the southeast.
Good evening. A jury has been played video allegedly showing 3 teenagers reenacting a brutal attack on a care worker from Sussex. Alan Wilson suffered life-changing injuries when he was assaulted in a park in Worthing.
The court also heard a recording of one of the defendants calling 999 the next day to hand himself in. Malcolm Shaw reports from Hove Crown Court.
The trial has heard how care worker Alan Wilson suffered multiple fractures and brain injuries on the evening of Easter Sunday last year. The 46-year-old had confronted 3 youths in Longcroft Park in Worthing after one of them allegedly pushed over a younger boy in a row about a game of frisbee. Mr. Wilson was found soon after, bleeding heavily. 3 teenagers are on trial, accused of carrying out what the prosecution calls a vicious and frenzied attack. Today, the jury was shown footage from CCTV cameras in the hours that followed. It's alleged that footage from a camera in Robin Road showed 2 of the defendants walking together. The police claim they changed their clothes since earlier in the evening. All 3 defendants are allegedly shown on CCTV from Goring railway station, then aboard a train. The prosecution claim they're seen making hitting gestures, reenacting the attack. Mr. Wilson spent almost 3 months in hospital. The court was shown a large wooden log it's alleged was used to beat him. The jury also heard a recording of a call made to 999 the day after the attack. The caller identified himself as one of the defendants, Harry Furlong. He said, "I'm handing myself in for the incident that happened last night, the one where the guy got airlifted to hospital." The call handler asked, "Due to injuries?" The caller replied, yes. He agreed to stay where he was until police officers arrived. Harry Furlong, who's 18 and from Horsham, denies grievous bodily harm with intent. The other defendants, aged 14 and 15, can't be named for legal reasons. They deny the same charge. The trial continues. Malcolm Shaw, ITV News, Hove Crown Court.
A murder investigation has been launched after a man was attacked at Lakeside Shopping Centre near Thurrock in Essex. Officers were called to the incident at around 4:30 yesterday afternoon. A man in his 30s was pronounced dead at the scene. Police think it was a targeted attack by 2 men. Anyone with information is asked to contact Essex Police.
Detectives urgently want to hear from 3 witnesses after a woman was raped on board a train in Sussex. It happened between 11 p.m. and 11:30 on Friday, April the 22nd, on a train from St Leonard's Warrior Square to Wadhurst. A 44-year-old man has been released on bail pending further investigation. Police want to hear from a second man who spoke to the victim on the platform before boarding the train. They also want to speak to 2 female passengers approached by the attacker shortly after the incident.
A man thought to be part of an organised criminal gang smuggling people into the UK has been arrested in Gravesend. It's believed horse boxes were used to hide people with compartments built within the vehicles. The man has been released on bail.
A suicide intervention programme has been launched in Eastbourne and Seaford. It will focus on taxi drivers, showing them how to spot the signs. The initiative was developed after a driver spotted 2 people who were suicidal in just one night.
A Kent lawyer has spent 5 weeks crisscrossing Europe transporting refugees from Ukraine to safety.
So far, Francis Wildman has helped more than 80 refugees fleeing towns under Russian attack. In the latest mission, he's driven from the Polish-Ukrainian border to Kent, with refugees joining host families here in the south. John Ryle has the story.
At a retail park off the M20 at Ashford, 10 Ukrainian refugees take their first steps in England. They're among the first to be granted visas to stay with host families here. And they're the latest group to be driven from the Ukrainian border to places of safety by Whitstable lawyer Francis Wilding, who saw TV coverage of the war and felt compelled to help.
I work from home. I haven't got a lot of work on, but I do work from home mostly. I can work online, and I thought, well, I could do this, I should do this.
My daughter was afraid to stay in the basement, so we stayed at the flat, and when the bombs fell, so you feel this house, block of flats is shaking, and it's, of course, it's frightful. And most difficult thing when you have no electricity, no water, no supply, mobile connection, so you don't know anything.
Do you hope one day to be able to go back?
Of course, because my parents stay there.
Over 6 weeks, Francis and his partner Jane have driven dozens of refugees to Germany, France, Italy, Spain and the Czech Republic, clocking up 16,000 miles so far.
And how many people have you helped so far?
This is 10, so it was 60-something, now it's 70-something. Sorry.
That's all right. Take your time.
But we've only been able to do it because people have sent money, and we'll keep going as long as the money keeps coming in. We've got a GoFundMe page, which is called Because We Can, and it keeps us going.
This woman fled from the Ukrainian city of Kharkiv, shelled heavily in the early stages of the war.
1,500 buildings were destroyed.
И приехали в Варшаву, и
практически
все время вели нас английские волонтеры.
And all the time we got support from English volunteers.
Мы им очень благодарны.
We so appreciate their help.
Francis Wilding says his minibus rescue missions will continue for as long as there are refugees in need. John Ryle, ITV News, Ashford.
Wow, just incredible, isn't it, the effort that he's made.
Fantastic work, Francis. Well done.
The AA is calling for people not to fill potholes after videos of Rod Stewart doing so circulated online.
Well, a new report claims it would now cost more than £12 billion to get Britain's roads back into a reasonable state, with £3 billion needed in our region alone. Amani Khan has more on the story.
Damaged wheels, punctured tyres and broken suspensions. Potholes are a nuisance for motorists.
I'm repairing the street where I live because no one can bother to do it.
Last month, you may have seen this video of Sir Rod Stewart online. He was so fed up with the potholes on his street, he took it upon himself to repair the road. But even if we did have the same resources as him, the AA is warning that it's not a good idea.
If someone had filled in a pothole and done it incorrectly, and then subsequently another vehicle got damaged, you may actually be liable. So most local authorities have standards to which they should fill in potholes, and obviously members of the public don't know what those standards are.
But motorists are becoming less patient after being left with hundreds of pounds worth of damage.
I've had lots of damage, wheel rim damage, alloys have been scraped. Only recently, yesterday, I had, funnily enough, I had a puncture.
Suspension, wheel alignment, brakes, everything because of these potholes.
My tyre's been damaged, my suspension, and it's getting worse. It's ridiculous.
The Asphalt Industry Alliance has carried out research into the state of our roads. They believe more than £12 billion is needed to bring the country's roads back into a reasonable state, with £3 billion needed in the south east.
The government have got to put the funding in at the right level, but also for the right time. So what we're asking for in the AIA is a long-term strategy. What the survey's telling us is that we need £2 billion per year for the next 10 years to bring the local authority roads back to the state that they need to be
The
in.
government says they are providing more than £5 billion of investment over 2020 to 2025 for highways maintenance to local authorities across England. Amani Khan, ITV News.
And you're watching ITV News in the Meridian region. Coming up, the South's first wheelchair basketball academy and why joining is about so much more than just sport.
Now, if you thought a dog was man's best friend, you might have to think again. We meet the Pied Piper of Headcorn.
That's the story I'm waiting to see. And you can find more on all of today's top stories on our website. Just go to itv.com/Meridian. You can call us, the number 0808 1010 095. And remember, you can also follow us on Facebook and, of course, on Twitter.
Now, one of Britain's longest-running building projects has finally come to an end, or is about to anyway, more than 150 years after it started.
Yes, work began on the chapel at Lancing College in Victorian times. Since then, it's become a Sussex landmark, and it's the fourth tallest church in the country. Well, today they celebrated a major milestone in the work of the incredible local stonemasons. Well, Derek Johnson is there for us tonight. Derek, it's such a beautiful building, and the end is finally in sight.
Absolutely. I mean, actually, ever since it began to rise from the ground in 1868, people have admired it as one of the most impressive buildings of its kind in this part of the world. And yet the front was never finished, what we call the west end of the chapel. That's all changed now. Before was just exposed brickwork, but now they've created 3 arches and a porch, and it is complete thanks to a lot of money being raised, also by a great design from an architect and work by local stonemasons as well that went on all the way through the pandemic.
We've got to the point of completion of this amazing building after 154 years. And that's incredibly exciting for us. This is a space which is right at the heart of the college and all that we do as a community together.
Well, it's absolutely fantastic seeing this completed at last. I think it's the tallest school chapel in the world, an incredible thing to say. And also the fact that it was never completed is pretty extraordinary. It's used by the school, but it's also an important resource for the community as well. And that will continue now. It's reopened to the public after the pandemic. I think it's incredible that they started building it in the lifetime of Queen Victoria and it's ended in the reign of Queen Elizabeth II.
It looks really beautiful. Derek Johnson, thank you so much for that tonight.
Now, the ITV Evening News is, of course, coming up after us with the details about what's on their programme tonight. Here's Charlene White.
Named, the Tory MP accused of watching porn in the House of Commons. Neil Parish has had the whip suspended while investigations continue. We'll have all the reaction. 2 UK volunteer aid workers are believed to have been captured by Russian forces in Ukraine. Boris Becker is jailed for 2.5 years for concealing thousands of pounds in his bankruptcy trial. And the unexpected court twist in the Wagatha Christie story. We'll have all the details. So join us for those stories and so much more at 6:30.
Charlene, we certainly will. But first, how about this for a quirky story? Maybe it should be a quacky story. Sorry, that was a really bad joke. But there's a family of ducks in Kent not content with their duck house and they've headed indoors.
Yes, self-styled duck whisperer Nigel Rodriguez has formed a unique bond between man and birds that has to be seen to be believed. So we sent Tony Green to have a look.
We're together, people can notice we appear together. We'll always be here together. Please hold me closer all the time.
Nigel Rodriguez moved to his current home in Headcorn 7 years ago. And shortly after digging out a pond, the ducks moved in too. But this year, they want to get closer.
They keep coming into the house. Even 2 days after they were born,
They were in the hallway with my dog, 14 ducklings.
Come on.
And the mother there. It's very strange. They're sort of almost behaving like humans, the way they're attached. You can see them now. It's a joyful experience.
And how does this affecting your day-to-day life and what you can get achieved?
Well, anything that needs to be done in the garden is a nightmare because I'm constantly surrounded by ducks. So that's a challenge. So I have to either work indoors or try and distract the ducks with something else, with some food, and then it leaves me to go and do what I need to do. But inevitably they'll follow me.
Mum and Dad are called Donald and Melania. These ducklings don't yet have any names, but that might all change in the 9 weeks that they'll be staying here. Now there's going to be a time when these ducks are big enough to fly away. Are you emotionally prepared for that?
Well, I've got used to it. It is tough, really is tough. Because you're nurturing these little creatures from the day, literally from the day, within hours of them being born. It's lovely to have, and I think it's a real gift to be able to be so close.
The feathered friendship can't be forever, but for now these little birds just can't keep away. Tony Green, ITV News, Headcorn.
That is so cute.
I loved how we just held on there, just with a little quack at the end. Just brilliant. Also, I think Duck Whisperer is perhaps the best job title I've ever heard. It's great. I just want to be a duck whisperer.
I tell you, I want to be those ducks living in that garden and that house. They're not going anywhere, are they?
No, that's true.
If they've got any sense, anyway.
Yes.
That's for sure. Now, the sport with Andrew Payton. Andrew, it's going to be a pretty nerve-wracking weekend for any Gillingham fan, isn't it?
Absolutely. Our thoughts are with them because you're right. It's been a long and bruising season for Gillingham fans. And it's all come down to this weekend. One match to try to avoid relegation. The campaign began with high hopes. Manager Steve Evans looking forward to his third season in charge at the Priestfield and lofty ambitions of pushing for promotion. But a disastrous run in League One saw the side 10 points from safety and Evans departed. In came former player Neil Harris at the end of January, and an instant upturn in form gave the supporters real hope. Gillingham hosts second-place Rotherham tomorrow. The Gills know a win should lift them out of the relegation zone, while the visitors know a win would see them promoted to the Championship.
It's a feeling of excitement, I think. Everyone knows everything's on this game, you know. It's a cup final. It's got that cup final feel around the place, and sort of winner takes all. We also know that Rotherham have got everything on the game as well. So I think it's going to that itself will just create an atmosphere that you want to play in, and I think everyone's thriving off that around the club, and the boys just want to get going now.
Good luck to the Gills. All matches in League One tomorrow kick off at 12:30. Gillingham looking to upset the odds against Rotherham and hoping Fleetwood or Morecambe struggle. Elsewhere, Brighton travel to Wolves in the Premier League. Albion aiming for a top 10 finish with 4 matches to go. Well, from football to wheelchair basketball and the Brighton-based Sussex Bears, who are celebrating the launch of their own academy. It's the first project of its kind on the South Coast, and the team behind it say it's about a lot more than just sport.
Small businesses and local teams, the heart of our communities. eBay sponsors ITV Regional Sport Reports.
The academy means new recruits can now train alongside the first team. Coaches tailoring those sessions to what the youngsters need, and with a clear pathway to the first team. But this isn't just about what happens on the court.
I think it's important to get disabled kids playing sport at an early age because you want them to get fitter and healthier and stronger, and you want them to have a lifetime of being independent. You know, playing disability sport not only gives you the skills on the court, but it also gives you skills outside, like driving or working or being around people who go to work every day, and you know, you learn about the system of access to work. You know, there's a lot that you learn on and off the court.
Those already playing say for them, the Sussex Bears is about so much more than just sport.
Before I was doing basketball, I didn't really have any
friends to go and do things with, and I was just kind of just staying in the house, not really doing anything. So basketball's made me more open to want to go and do things, and has made me more sociable.
I look forward to coming here because there's a lot of people that I used to work with and different sports here, and it's nice to be able to talk to them and do this with them. It's always good to get some exercise in your body, and you shouldn't really feel alone doing it.
With the senior team looking almost certain to be promoted to the First Division, the future is looking very bright for the Sussex Bears. Here's to a great weekend for the Academy, our football teams, and especially the Gills.
Yeah, Andrew, that Gillingham story, I mean, I think I've been doing this job now for a couple of months, and I think one of the first stories we did in sport was, is Gillingham's Great Escape on? And it is still running.
Yeah, I always say when you started, it was a case of, I'm not really sure this is going to happen. And they went on this brilliant run. And then the last couple of weeks, it's been really difficult. As you say, it all comes up to tomorrow. They can do it.
Good luck.
I think they can definitely do it. We've got to be positive.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Andrew.
Thank you.
Now, did you know country music is the fastest growing music genre here in the UK?
And one duo who are partly responsible are the Shires. They got together back in 2013 and have gone on to become the first UK country act to chart in the top 10.
And Ben Earl and Chrissy Rhodes are heading to Folkestone next month. Natalie Ball has been to meet them.
I see stars out of a million, only one has got to fall.
How did you both get into country music and how did the band form?
Well, it's quite different, our journeys into country music. So I discovered it when I was about 22, and there's a band called Lady A who had a song called Need You Now, which I heard, and it was like an epiphany for me. It was like, this is country music. Like, I thought it was all Stetsons and, you know, hay bales and divorce and stuff. And then I started writing some songs. I put a Facebook post out, and then we were introduced by a mutual friend. And then Chrissy's love and, you know, of country is much
I'm like
longer.
a lifelong fan, but me and my gran used to sing all the old country music, but like growing up, I didn't really tell anyone about it.
And country music is really growing here in the UK. What is it about country music that you think people love so much?
I think it's the stories and the honesty, and I think, you know, it's a lot more global now as well. Like when we first got into it, it was very much kind of about southern, you know, American lifestyle, whereas now we spend so much time in Nashville, and it's, you know, it's really cosmopolitan, and I think the songs are reflecting that. And then the fact that you can just get any type of music wherever you are with streaming in the world now, I think people have been more exposed to it.
And Cut Me Loose, that's your latest single. It's very upbeat.
Got me chasing you.
Tell me the story behind that one.
Well, in fact, we've been sitting on this song for years. So we actually discovered it back when we were writing our second album. And usually, like, Ben and I will write most of the songs on the album, or Ben will write quite a lot of them. But this was a completely outsider song. And we were out in Nashville writing at the time, and Ben just so happened to go into this bar, and there were some people playing a songwriters round. And this songwriter was playing this song, and you just went straight up to her and said, I love this song, can we have it for our next album?
And Ed Sheeran has written one of your songs.
We had a night out in Nashville with Ed Sheeran years ago after his show, and he's so humble, so normal, and after that night out he sort of sent us this song called Stay the Night, which is on our third album. And, you know, getting that demo of him just singing it with the guitar, and again, he loves country music, I think, for the same reasons. Like, he jumped up on stage with a huge country star called Luke Combs a couple of months ago at the O2 in London, and, you know, he's very country because he just loves lyrics and he loves the storytelling, like I said before. So yeah, having him write a song for us was obviously great for us in terms of profile, but the actual song as well was just brilliant. We love it still.
And you're approaching your 10-year anniversary. Have you got anything big planned for it?
Well, Chrissy's yeah, huge plan. You really?
Yeah, I've decided to carry 2 little babies at the moment. So
congratulations.
Thank you very much. Yeah, so they're due October time. So I might be just sort of resting up and full-time mum at that point on our 10-year anniversary.
Are there any big country artists you'd like to perform with that you haven't already?
Oh, loads, yeah. How long we got? Dolly Parton,
I mean, that would be quite amazing, wouldn't it?
Incredible. Yeah.
Dolly, if you're watching.
Dolly,
if you're watching.
Yeah. So I know you need to go and sound check. So thank you so much for talking to me. The Shires.
Thank you very much.
Dolly and the Shires, that would be worth listening to, wouldn't it?
I bet Dolly Parton's watching.
She must be.
Somehow.
Anyway, hopefully she is. Holly's here. If we can't get Dolly, we'll get Holly. Holly, we're nearly at the end of April.
Yes.
Figures, you've got them already?
Mm-hmm. Do you have an impression of what April has been like?
Dry. I've had to water the pots in April.
Yeah,
Exactly.
we haven't
Rare.
had any rain really, have we?
No,
To talk of.
That's exactly right. So in terms of temperature, in terms of sunshine, it's all been sort of boringly around about average. Temperature's gone up and down a bit, but the average is pretty much where it should be. But we've hardly had any rain. So take a look at this. Cloud will come and go a bit, probably the most cloud around I think on Sunday, and that will probably feel like the coolest day I suspect as well. Some chilly nights to come tonight, a bit chilly, perhaps tomorrow night too, and then a little bit of rain. I think Sunday could bring a touch of patchy rain, maybe a few showers into Bank Holiday Monday, but not a lot of rain, nothing really useful I don't think for the gardens. High pressure then is dominating at the moment. We have got this low slipping southwards on Sunday, but it's a fairly weak affair and a lot of the rain stays further west anyway, so as I say, we can't really rely on that for any rainfall, but I do think it will tend to thicken the cloud. A few showers then into Bank Holiday Monday, a possibility, but again, I can't say that any one place will definitely get those. Out there at the moment, a couple of showers affecting parts of Kent, but a lot of tonight is dry. Clear spells come and go, that cloud drifting in and out. We keep this north or northeasterly breeze. We've had it for ages, haven't we? And temperatures do take a bit of a tumble. I couldn't rule out a touch of grass frost perhaps in places, and maybe an odd mist or fog patch around as well. So for our Saturday, well, again, we keep this northeasterly flow, although I think it will drop that bit lighter than we saw today. Cloud will move in and out through the course of the day, some spells of sunshine. The best of the temperature is always where you come that bit further inland, and of course cooler and fresher where you are exposed to that northeasterly breeze. Our high tide times, just the one at Dover there at 11:52. And the outlook. So I think a reasonable day on Saturday, a chance of a little patchy rain on Sunday, but probably not too much. Brightening through the day on Monday, just the chance of a few showers. Take care.
Valent sponsors ITV Meridian Weather.
It's kind of better than all right. We'll take that, won't we?
It was pretty good, I think, for a bank holiday.
Underplaying it. We'll take it. It's fine. That's it from us. In a moment, of course, the ITV Evening News is coming up with Charlene White this evening.
So from all of us here tonight, thank you very much for watching and have a wonderful bank holiday weekend from us. Good night.
Bye-bye.